Welcome back to our channel. We are the Bakes.
All right, so today we wanted to talk about our birth story and tell a little bit about what it was like having baby Kennedy naturally with no epidural and no pain meds. We did have this video recorded like a long time ago, and we went to edit it and it sucked.
Yeah, I wasn't pleased with it.
So we recorded it again and it still sucked. So here we are today recording this video about Kennedy. We did decide to switch it up a bit and do it Q&A style. I think it's because I feel like we've told our birth story a million times and it just became like repetitive. So we asked some of our Instagram followers and a few friends what they would be interested in hearing.
Follow us on IG.
Yes, at Jessica Lindley and at
__bake.
We have a couple questions, so this is like the top 10. It's actually a little bit more than 10 because there's so much you can cover. So top 10 questions that people want to know about a natural labor and delivery story. So before we get started, I wanted to give a little bit of an overview on Kennedy.
All right, so Kennedy was born on Friday, November 15th at 6 pounds and 12 ounces. And I believe it was 19.5 inches.
Yeah, she was kind of long.
And I think the time was 7:34?
7:34 to be exact.
Yeah.
So she was born from me with no medication, no epidural, on purpose. It wasn't an accident. We planned for a natural labor and delivery, and we did it. I watched 1,000,001 natural birth videos on YouTube, and I made the decision to try it. If you have any questions about, our experience that we may not have covered in this video, comment the questions below, and we'll be happy to answer them. Oh, and we wanted multiple perspectives. So like a lot of times you just do like the lady talking, but we wanted, it to like bounce back and forth because he was a great birth partner. All right, you ready for the questions? They are on my phone, so we don't forget. Okay, question number 1. How long did you labor for? I labored for 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
From the very first contraction to her coming out was 16 hours. So it started at like 3:30 in the morning. I woke up like going to the bathroom like I normally do, and then I was like, this feels weird, and I started timing the contractions from there, and then she was born at 7:34 p.m.
Yep.
Next question. Did your water break, or how did you know you were in labor? All right, I'm going to pass this one on to Lee. My water did not break.
Her water broke, but in the way that it broke.
It was broken.
It was broken. Yeah, we'll say that.
Okay, so I knew I was in labor because my contractions were 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
The 411 rule or 511.
It was 511.
511. I think it's both. Either way, it was 411, 511.
Yeah.
4 minutes apart, 1 minute long.
For an hour.
For an hour. So that started like really early in the morning on that Friday morning. So I knew that it was different and I was in labor, so we go to the hospital and I just knew. My water didn't break. My water was broken like a minute before Kennedy was born. The doctor had to break my waters because you have to do that before the baby comes out.
She did it quick too. So all of this was moving very fast because it escalated very quickly. And next thing you know, the doctor's like, okay, I'm gonna break your water. And before Jess can even like comprehend whatever she's talking about, she pulls out this little stick with a little. Well, it was a long stick.
It was like a yardstick, but it looked like a giant. Okay, so I saw two parts. I saw like a really long blue shoehorn type thing, and then I saw like a giant popsicle stick.
And then she was just like, "All right, I'm gonna break your water, yada yada yada." She reached in there, boop,
and then water just
came out.
And then I start like pushing baby, basically.
Yeah.
So that was question 2. Question number 3. How did you advocate for yourself and not give in to drug temptations? Okay, so I was tempted to get medication during the process. I labored in triage for
probably
like the majority of the time.
Yeah, probably about 6, 5.
It was a long time.
About 5 or 6 hours.
So I labored in triage, and I know that I wanted to labor at home as much as possible because I know that would reduce your chances for medical intervention. But that didn't happen because I could have sworn I was going to have a baby as soon as I had my first contraction because it's so intense. So we go to the hospital, we're in triage, they send us home after like 2 hours, and then I come back because I'm pretty sure I'm having the baby. And that was from like 1 to 6 I'm in triage, and they can give you medicine or do whatever while you're in triage, but they can't admit you until you're 6 centimeters.
Right.
So during that time I was not really wanting to have medicine, but the contractions were so intense that like the nurse kept saying, "Are you sure you don't want any?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." I kept just telling myself, and I think this is answering a question later, I kept telling myself it has to get worse before it can get better. Right. So I just kind of just kept telling that to myself and hoping that I could get through it, and the next thing you know, 6 hours had gone by.
Yeah, and we had a secret word that if she was to say the word, then that would be like the ultimate get me medicine. And even though she said it multiple times,
I said I don't want to do this anymore.
I want an epidural. She never said the secret word. So and by the way, it was Mr. Bear.
Yes, because Mr. Bear was my teddy bear when I was a baby, and it gave me comfort, and I thought that medicine would give me comfort, so that was my code word. Yep. Which I never said. So, did you have a birth plan? If so, what was in it, and did you follow it?
I wish we could find it.
Oh, I have it. It's on my Google Drive. I mean, I have it printed.
No, you should print it.
Oh, I have it printed in our baby box, but I had a 14-page birth plan. I was very prepared because everyone talks about how you need a birth plan that outlines what medication the baby's going to get, what medication you want, like plan A, B, C through all the way through Z. So, yes, I had a birth plan. What was in it? No medication. I understood when medication was needed because we took a Lamaze class. And so I had that outlined in it, but I also had the code word. So if anyone were to hear me say Mr. Bear and they saw my birth plan, they knew that it was time. Yeah. So
but just to be like, I don't even think the nurse even had time to even go through it because of how quickly things happen. I mean, she picked it up and she looked through it, but we had just got admitted to the room.
So let's explain that. Okay. So I had my birth plan in my hospital bag, which was in the car the whole time I was in triage. So the nurses only verbally knew that I wanted a natural labor and delivery, but they hadn't seen my birth plan yet. So once we were checked into our like actual labor and delivery room at like 6:30.
About 6. About
6
o'clock.
About 6 o'clock. Yeah. My mom went to go get my hospital bag from the car, and then by the time she came back, I was about to have the baby. Right. So I was like, "Get the birth plan out," and then they just kind of like flipped a page and then just kept going.
Yeah, I seen her. She was like, "Okay," but I know in her mind she was like,
"Whatever." I mean, and it was like a novel.
She was like, "Okay," put it down. By the time she put it down and came back in the room, baby Kennedy was almost coming out.
Yeah. So I recommend having a birth plan for your own peace of mind and preparation. Preparedness, but I don't know how valuable it is for the hospital, especially if you have a super fast labor like I did. Yeah. Okay, so question number 5. What laboring position worked best for you?
I would probably say is you on the ball, like leaning over. That's what you were doing the most of the time. So
while we're in triage, you're in like this tiny little half walls cut off room with like a curtain. So all you have is a bed and a ball. They brought me a ball with a towel on it. Whew. So that was the best position because I was having back labor, so they put a heating pad on my back. Lee was rubbing a heating pad, and I was like crunched over, and that felt better. But when we got into our labor and delivery room, the best position was in the shower, and I just put I would alternate legs, and I would put one leg on like the stool in the shower, and then just rock back and forth with like the hot water running on my back. Yeah. We tried when we came home the first time. We tried like all of the crazy positions we learned in Lamaze, and they all sucked. For me, they did. I thought the whole swaying back and forth would work. No.
And then her grandma basically kicked us out and said, go back to the hospital.
Yeah, she thought we were going to have the baby on the living room floor. So we went back. Question number 6. Did you need stitches? What's that?
Like stitches.
So those of you that don't know, when you have a baby vaginally, you can tear or rip because the baby's head is huge.
And if your baby got a big old head.
Yeah, you hold a hole. So I had a 2nd degree tear, which was great because she just plowed through. I mean, a tear is a tear. I didn't feel it. But yes, I did need stitches. So I didn't feel the stitches, even though I had no medication. The doctor said after delivery was like, okay, you know, since you didn't have an epidural, I'm going to have to numb you and stitch you up. So she numbs me, and I just feel like a little poke. And then from there, the stitches just felt like those like woven baskets from Home Goods that you put like remote controls in. And the doctor just kind of laughed at me because I'm like, that tickles.
Yeah, it was funny. She was in there like giggling.
Yeah. So yes, I did need stitches, but it was not that bad. I think you're just so excited to have your baby in your arms, and all the other hormones are going through your body that it's just not that bad. Okay, did you have any complications? Kind of.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I had post delivery complications.
Right.
So all
and then
yes. Okay, the IV.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am a hard stick, and let's just go back. So I did not want any medication. So I did not want any IVs. I'm already a hard stick, and I didn't want any like pokes in my arms because I don't like needles. And I get to our labor and delivery room, right? And we get in the shower anyways. We get in the bed, and the baby's heart rate starts to go up. And
because she was dehydrated from the whole day, because she couldn't really eat anything from the whole day.
I could have, but I just like when I had breakfast, it was like coming right up. So the only thing I ate was breakfast.
Right.
And it came up.
And barely, right.
So I ate like nothing for the whole day. So I was getting dehydrated, and the baby's heart rate was going up when I was in the labor and delivery room. So they're like, she needs to have fluids in her to regulate the baby's heart rate. So they had to stick me, and that was chaotic because they couldn't stick me. They poked me like 6 times. And then they finally got me right here, which is like a really weird position to be in.
It's like the last resort.
He would know because he went to phlebotomy school.
Right.
And that was the number 1 complication. But then everything went okay, and she was born a few months later. Right. The second complication was after Kennedy was born, I started to hemorrhage, which means your like uterus is just bleeding. And it wasn't that crazy. The doctor like, she's hemorrhaging, and then they say put this medicine, so they just like swap the bags, and then the IV comes in, and then she had to poke me in my thigh to like stop the bleeding. So they gave me Pitocin for that, but that was after Kennedy was born. Number 8. You were a first-time mom. Were you mentally prepared for natural delivery? Yes. I went into this knowing exactly how it could possibly go. I knew how it could go perfect, how it could go the absolute worst, needing a C-section. I knew every possible outcome, and I was mentally prepared for it. I didn't know in my head what the pain would feel like, but I had read some books, some Supernatural Childbirth. I will link it below. And I was mentally prepared for childbirth. Were you?
I mean, for me, it's like, I guess, I didn't do the heavy lifting, so
But you did a really good portion. He was a great birth partner. He was like, it's okay, you can do this.
The most that I got out of Lamont's class for the birth partner is to just do whatever you can to help. Because, I'm not going through the pain. I don't know what the contractions feel like.
No.
None of that, right? So even me trying to give encouraging words was tough, because it's like I could say all these things, right? It's not going to take away the pain. So
we should play that Kirk right now.
So it's a little tough.
Take the pain away.
Oh.
That's Kirk Franklin, right?
Yeah, it's an old song.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big thing for me, is just do whatever I can to help. So I was just, whether it was like pressing on her back,
You were ready.
compressions, all that stuff. Yeah, I think so. I actually, now that I think about it,
You
I think
were
I was.
prepared. Okay. What was the hardest part of labor? The contractions. By far. That is the craziest feeling ever. It feels like, and a coworker told me, like a tightening, and then like a relief. Once you start having them and you're like timing it and figuring it out, you know the pattern, so you're just like preparing yourself for it. But I would say the feeling of like the entire inside of your body tightening was the hardest part. And then just knowing that it was just going to keep going and you don't exactly know when. I knew that I wasn't going to be laboring forever. I knew that I was going to go in the hospital and have this baby. It wasn't going to be a 24 plus hour labor and delivery. I just woke up that morning and was like, we're having a baby today. So, but you just don't know when it's going to happen. So that was the hardest. What would you have changed if you could?
I think maybe use all those Amazon products you bought.
I had bought pretty much like everything childbirth on Amazon.
And it's funny too, when she bought it, I remember it was a lot of stuff.
I will, maybe if you guys are interested, do a video on what's in my hospital bag, or what was in my hospital bag, and share some of the items and what they would have been used for. Because I used none of them because they were in the car the whole time.
And it happened so quick.
And it happened so quick.
Yeah.
So,
it was funny though.
So if I were to, it was a perfect labor and delivery. If you ask me, I would do that 1,000,000 times over.
Right.
But
I think maybe if we would have brought the bag with us from the beginning, because then we
wouldn't have had space. So the reason they weren't letting me be admitted into the hospital yet is because I was only 4 centimeters.
Right.
Like the whole day.
Yeah.
And then I get admitted to the hospital and I went from 6 centimeters to delivery in an hour. So.
Right.
Yeah. What was in your hospital bag? And did you use everything? I know.
I don't even know if that was the next question.
Silly us. What was in my hospital bag? Everything. Hydro Flask, Rebozo rags, mints to de-stress me, like literally everything. So if you guys are interested in knowing what was in my hospital bag, I will link.
We even made
make a new video. Just let me know what you want.
We made a rice bag.
Yes, at Lamaze class, I made like a rice bag that you like heat up.
It low key like smelled good.
Yeah, I mean I still have it somewhere, but
low key smelled good.
It had essential oils and like you could put it in the microwave.
It was in the cooking. It was all in the circle.
It was so cute. So yeah, a lot of stuff was in my hospital bag. Was your husband supportive or annoying during labor?
What you think? Stop playing. She tried to play me.
No, he was very supportive. You were very supportive.
I think I did way better than I thought I would. Just because
really?
because I'm not really like one for like many words. So
what?
Stop. So
he
like,
either says no words or million
yeah,
words.
I know. So it's like me having to like encourage like the whole time, be right there. I didn't think I would do good at that. But what helped me is I would do different and say different things, and then I would figure out what was working and what wasn't working. So
wow, I didn't even know that.
So like I would say this, and if she wouldn't like respond to it like in a positive way, it's like, all right, I ain't saying that.
But when did I not
more.
respond to something in a positive way? Other than the water bottle.
Whether if it like helped through the contraction, that was like the main things. Like saying different things through your contractions. The main thing that helped, that I kept saying that I kept having her do the entire time, was having her breathe through the contraction. So I think that was like the biggest thing that I picked up on that helped, because on the contractions that she wasn't breathing, those were like way worse. So what I would do is during her contraction, I would make sure that she was breathing in and out, and she was getting through the contractions
way better.
Much better, even though it was still painful.
And he helped me, I would say, the most when it was time to push.
Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned, I had an IV right here, and they told me to keep my arm down, but they wanted me to hold my legs up.
Right.
And I did not want to deliver on my back, because you learn that if you're on your back, it closes your pelvis and the baby can't come out easy. So, but it just happened that way. It was time to deliver the baby, and I was on the bed. But I had IV here, legs up, and I was pushing wrong.
Right.
So he was like, okay, just like push better. Like,
the doctor was like, the doctor showed her how to do it, and she was like,
don't do that.
And the doctor's like, and she said it so nicely. She was like, you're not helping. So nicely.
Yeah. And then he held my leg or my arm, one or the other. He helped me physically.
I think I was doing both. I was holding one leg. I was holding your arm down.
And a leg?
And I was holding your leg. Because like you were trying to like focus on different things, and then
so there was
she kept bending her arm.
Because you're like, okay, how are you supposed to hold your legs and your arms?
Right,
it's confusing.
Yeah, I know.
But
and like the IV was like stopping because she was closing.
So
yeah,
he was supportive. I will say the only time that he was annoying was when I had just gone to the labor and delivery room, and I was in the shower, and I was really thirsty, and I asked him for water. And he just sticks his hand out in the curtain and holds the water bottle there while I'm in the middle of a contraction.
I don't know what I was thinking.
So I turn around and I see just a hand and a water bottle. And I'm like, get that hand out of here. And I like push it away, and he's like, oh.
I'm like, dang, like you said you was thirsty.
Well, yeah, like, right? So imagine the contractions going for like a minute, and he is there the whole time. That is so annoying. Like, you're supposed to like put it up to my
And another one was she was like getting like emotional at that certain parts of the. I don't remember this. I remember because I didn't do it again. She so she was getting like a little emotional. So like I promise I'm not. So like a little tear came down. So of course me trying to be like husband of the year, right? I went to like wipe the tear from her face, and she was like, "Don't touch me." And I was like,
I think he's making that up.
I'm not. I'm not.
Okay. Who did you have in the labor and delivery room with you? How did you choose them?
Babe.
Him. And my mother.
By, what do you want to call it? Not default, but...
Accident? She was not in my birth plan. So also in my birth plan, I had exactly who was allowed in the room and when they would be allowed in the room. And Lee was the only one allowed in the room. So... I think we mentioned earlier that the hospital bag was in the car. My mom goes and gets it. And I did not plan on having my mother or my mother-in-law or my grandma or anyone else in the room. Right. And my mom goes to the car at like...
It was like 6:30ish, maybe 6:45. Because we were in the shower when she came in.
To get the keys or come in?
We were in the shower when she came and got the keys. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you got out the shower, which was about 6:45, I think she was like just getting back. So she was literally just coming in to drop off the bag, and she was going to go back out to the, wherever and chill. But literally as she's putting down the bag over in the corner of the room, the doctor comes in. And when the doctor comes in, the doctor decides to check her, and she had already progressed like a couple of centimeters. So she went from like 6 to 8 probably within like 10 minutes, and her mom's just in the corner. And then like a couple of minutes goes by, the doctor checks again. She's like, wow, you're 9 centimeters.
Yeah. And
now she's like calling the whole tribe into the room.
It's crazy.
Like the nurses come in, the resident, everybody like comes in is like in full.
And she's like pulling on her gloves and putting my legs up, and I get an IV.
And all this happening while her mom is just stuck in the corner the entire time. So I mean, she couldn't even get out because it was like 5 people at the foot of the bed. And
one reason I did not want my mom in the room is because she's really bad with blood and hospitals.
Did she like pass out?
Yes, she passed out. I didn't want to put my mom on blast like this. I have to tell the story.
I mean, you got to.
She passed out when I was like 10, and I was getting my gums cut at the dentist. And she like actually passed out. So imagine what would have happened if she saw me pop out a baby.
Right.
So I really didn't want her in the room. So while I am about to deliver this baby, I'm like, someone check on my mom.
Right.
How is my mom? Someone check on her.
Nurses is
Like, I'm having a full conversation with everyone. Like, how is
chill.
my mom doing? How am I supposed to keep my leg up and hold my arm down and check on my mom at the same time? And they're like, she's fine. It's okay. Just focus on pushing.
It was like, you bugging. They was like, focus. You don't need to be worrying about that. Focus. You're supposed to be here.
I needed someone to take care of my mom.
She was good though.
She was fine. All I heard was Jesus, and then she took some pictures too. So
yeah,
it worked out. It was nice. We got some pictures, and she got to see it.
And she didn't pass out?
She did not pass out. But did she look?
I don't think she looked.
But she heard me scream.
She did hear you scream. She did hear you scream.
She heard. I heard myself scream. Okay.
It was only one though.
It was only one scream. So I'm going to throw this in as a second question.
Man, I wish we was recording that.
Question is, they talk about this ring of fire when it's time to push. So people probably ask, what does it feel like when you need to push? And it does feel like you need to poop. So I let everyone know that I felt like I need to poop.
And I was so confused too.
He was like, is she going to poop?
I was like, I know she ain't about to do that right here. Like, I was so confused when she said I need to poop.
Yeah, I was like, I need to poop. And I didn't really feel like, I knew I wasn't going to poop. I knew I had to push.
Right.
But my mom heard me scream. So the ring of fire, they say it's just like that crazy, like, it's when everything's happened, that transition labor. I don't really remember feeling anything crazy, but some really intense contractions. And then the doctor saying it's time to push. And it just feels like a massive poop. And the baby came out. And I screamed. But this was before. I think it was like one of my last contractions that I screamed.
Because it was before you started pushing.
And
you was only pushing for like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I heard, it was one of those out-of-body experiences where like I saw myself and heard myself scream so loud. So I'm pretty sure the whole hospital heard me.
Not even exaggerating. Even me and the doctor locked eyes. The doctor has her head down, of course, like focusing on that. And when she screamed, me and the doctor looked at each other, and even the doctor like laughed because she was like, "That was so loud," in all of our ears, and everybody was just like looking around. Like, I wish I was recording.
Yeah, well, you were focused on like holding my.
Or somebody. I wish we had like a camera set up. Cause
Okay.
like I can't duplicate what the scream was.
Yeah.
And
Maybe next time. Maybe, if there is a next time. Okay, so is there any detail? Is there any details that we want to... when you first saw Kennedy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, we're throwing in some extra stuff.
So we always had like this debate on if she would have hair or not.
Because...
Look at this.
And look at that.
Right? So we were like, I don't know.
50-50.
So we always had like, just like this random joke about if she would have hair or whatever the case is. So for me, looking down, I was locked in the whole time. Like
he was ready to catch that baby.
Right here. I didn't catch it though. I know.
I
know.
Don't say it.
I can't remember what I was talking about.
When you saw that she had hair.
Oh, that's right. So when I saw she had hair, the first thing that you see when the baby's coming out is the head, of course. And
if the baby comes out that way.
If the baby comes out that way.
And she came out perfect.
The very first thing that I said was like, she has hair.
I was like, oh my God, you could see her head.
And you could just see the hair coming out.
And I was so excited.
And then the baby came out.
Yeah. So that was it. Do you guys want to see Kennedy? Let's see what she's doing. But that is our video. We may pop her in if she is.
She's pretty quiet right now.
Quiet.
She was a little rowdy earlier.
Okay.
Like.
So that was it. So make sure you comment below if you guys have any questions that we didn't cover on a natural labor and delivery experience, and then what you want our next few videos to be.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more videos.
See you soon.